We welcome a true friend of this congregation and one of Fresno's most beloved and powerful spiritual teachers, someone I am blessed to call friend. The Reverend Ana Maria Tenbears Lopez is an ordained minister of New Thought Community. She is a shamanic teacher of the Pachacuti Mesa cross-cultural shamanic arts for personal and planetary renewal, and has an active hospice and palliative care ministry. Reverend Ana Maria has been walking the path of shamanic healing for over 30 years, with her close hands-on teachings from Don Oscar Miro Quesada, a Peruvian maestro of the Pachacuti Mesa tradition. This lineage has elevated her compassion and her understanding of how to best assist all care providers, patients, and their families. In her practice, Reverend Ana utilizes native prayers, drumming, crystal bowl sound therapy, and hands-on healing prayers of compassionate comfort. Reverend Ana Maria Tenbears Lopez contributes to her spiritual community by conducting workshops that explore transcendental philosophies and other foundational universal principles. Reverend Ana embodies the perspective of indigenous cosmology and modern spirituality as a representative of women of color, immigrant, indigenous populations, and the LGBTQ community. In fact, Reverend Ana was the recipient of this year's City of Fresno's Harvey Milk Award for the work that she does. These ancient traditional teachings have been handed down orally from generation to generation, and Reverend Ana is honored to carry on these traditions from the ancestors. Please give a warm welcome, Reverend Ana.
Thank you, my beloved brother. I appreciate you and your community for opening your doors and opening your heart to me. To my brother Lance, thank you, brother, for bringing the sacredness of who you are and how it unfolds for all of us. Thank you. I want to say thank you, of course, to the sound and the video and everybody that creates this sacred day for us together, including all of you. I appreciate that I have people that show up. Today's sharing is called The Weaving of the Threads. So while I was in Peru, I was honored to witness the Peruvian women weaving their mantas and their shawls. There was one grandmother, Francisco. She was demonstrating how she has learned to weave from her mother, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, generations and generations. So as she is demonstrating the weaving to us, she is sitting right in front of us. We are in a courtyard. There's a tree in the middle of the courtyard. She ties her loom off to the tree and sits right in front of it, right in front of the tree, and proceeds to weave. She doesn't need a whole lot of contraptions. She uses exactly what is available for her. As she's weaving, I'm paying attention to her hands. I'm mesmerized by the strength of her hands and how fast they're moving, right? So she's been learning this since she's been a young girl. What I noticed was how beautiful and strong her hands were, and they didn't look any arthritis. I noticed in my family, we've been working really hard as immigrants in the fields, and most of our hands have arthritis. But I noticed that hers did not. So it dawned on me that Grandmother Francisco was weaving prayers. She was weaving stories into the threads. For example, right here, she was weaving the Lama's story of service. And for the Grandmother Francisco and the people of Peru, the Lama is the symbol of releasing our burdens. To make this so let me say that again. I'm trying to fix this, sorry. So the animal ally of the Lama brings us the medicine of releasing our burdens. The Yama comes up, says, give me your burdens, place them upon our backs. And there are certain songs and prayers that do this. For what the Yama then shows us is how to transmute our burdens into wisdom. So that is her prayer that she is weaving with a state of gratitude. She has this smile. It's not a chore for her to do this. She's given gratitude that she has learned these prayers, but she's also giving gratitude for the wool, the animal, and the animal ally that is showing up for this prayer. She's also given the gratitude for those of us like myself that will show up to purchase, to support her family, and that we will take this medicine out into the world, just as I've brought it here for you. This ancient medicine lives on through her hands, and is carried by myself. So whenever anybody asks me about it, I can tell the story of her prayers. So when she was weaving, and I had just purchased this from her, I asked myself, do I have the right to wear this? How can I carry her medicine and her prayers in a good way? This weaving is the weaving story of the cosmos according to the Peruvian people. Each small dot represents a space and a time. How can I honor her and the amount of months that it takes to weave this beautiful ancestral medicine? By doing what I'm doing today, sharing her story, sharing her medicine, and recognizing what this community weaves together. Grandmother Francisco shared with us that they never weave alone. They always gather. There's one in a small circle, there's one spinning wool, there's one dyeing the wool, and there are others weaving. They don't go home to do this. They come together to do this, to weave. They believe that most things should be done in community. Their ancient wisdom is carried together by a very sacred knowing, and it's called Aini. That today will be for you, and tomorrow might be for me. or today is for me and tomorrow is for you. This sacred way of life, Aini, is the ancient wisdom in which I come today to share with you the story. That we can't carry it by ourselves, that we're not meant to. That we gather and weave each thread is so important. That we can't carry the full load of the world alone. Do you know that there are stories, that there are the cosmic elephants that hold the world up so that we don't have to as humans? We have these ancient stories that are willing to always share the wisdom if we're available to listen. They say that we are stronger and a more beautiful human tapestry when our lives are woven together in community. I absolutely believe that. That we weave our lives with the threads of our stories. So I would like to bring a story and share it with you today that has great meaning for me. It's the Sky Woman. This story comes from the northeastern states, Haudenosaunee people, and it was told to me by Chief Beverly Cook. I'm going to read it because I don't want to miss one word. Take a breath with me now. Feel the story. Listen with something other than just your ears. I invite you. Sky Woman fell from the sky. She fell to the world through a hole in the upper world. And for a long time, all she could hear was a far-off sound of a pumpkin rattle. A distant heartbeat in the vastness. She hurtled through the blackness. She felt the cold air rushing past her cheeks and around her body. She fell for what seemed an eternity, wanting only for the baby nestled deep in her body to survive. She squeezed her eyes shut and clenched her hands even tighter, not noticing the clumps of dirt and seeds she had been holding. She murmured softly to herself to keep breathing. Keep breathing long, slow breaths. She slowly opened her eyes and thought she saw movement far below her, but she couldn't be sure. Beneath her was a vast world covered with rippling water. The movement she could barely see were creatures swimming back and forth frantically, for they had noticed her falling from the sky and were trying to decide what to do. Suddenly, she noticed there were water birds flying intently towards her. Their wings were beating with a steady rhythm, and their eyes locked with hers. And as they drew closer and closer, she saw that they were extending their wings and flying as close together as they could manage in order to cradle her and slow her fall. Once she was safely settled in their wings, the birds turned as one and with their passenger began gliding downward towards the water. The creatures below observed Sky Woman. She was approaching quickly and understood that she would need something sturdy to hold her above the water. The great sea turtle immediately offered to hold her afloat. It was decided that they would each take a turn diving below the water's surface, attempting to reach the bottom where the old stories told of a soft substance that they could use as padding. Each creature took a turn, diving downward, hoping to go deep enough to retrieve the soft substance that covered the ocean floor. The otter and the beaver each tried without success. So the muskrat took his turn. The other creatures watched as a few bubbles broke from the surface and then stopped. They wondered about the muskrat that had dove deep. The muskrat was gone for a long time, too long. The water was still and quiet until the body broke the surface and floated toward them. Even though they could see he had drowned, they rolled him over and discovered clumps of mud in his little paws and even his mouth. The other creatures gently removed the mud and placed it in a little pile on the turtle's back. As Sky Woman neared the surface of the water and saw the great turtle was waiting for her. She began to feel a lump form in her throat and a burning in her eyes as the reality of her situation penetrated her consciousness. She was alone and far from the only family she had ever known. When the birds landed, she was reluctant at first to leave the safety and comfort of their wings. She looked deeply into their eyes and saw that they had brought her as far as they could. She carefully stepped out onto the turtle's back. Silent gestures of gratitude were expressed and received as the birds took their flight. She turned around slowly, seeing only water in all directions. She watched the birds fly away until they no longer could be seen. Glancing at her feet upon the turtle's back, she spotted that little mound of mud, and instinctively she stepped upon it. She began to shuffle her feet in order to spread the mud across the hard shell. Calling on all the knowledge she gained in her short life, she began to glide to the right, glide to the left, circling upon the shell, singing the songs that came from another place. She sang about a beautiful garden, life, and growth. She was comforted by the sound of her own voice and the melody that carried the familiar words of her mother. When she used to sing the same songs, her hands finally relaxed, releasing the clumps of soil and the seeds within her hands that she unknowingly brought from where she came. The soil and the mud mixed together under her shuffling feet, and suddenly she could feel the turtle shell expand larger and larger and larger, along with the soil that she danced upon. Greenery and plants were formed and provided a place for comfort, enough for Sky Woman to prepare for the birth of her baby girl, with the birds singing a welcoming song. So the story continues to be woven. I thank you, Chief Beverly Cook, for that story, and bringing to myself and our community the many threads that need to come together, and how these threads experience many surprises, hopes, losses, and joys. So where in this story did you relate to the most? Was it the water birds with their sacred attributes, that they represent a time of change and letting go of resistance? For the sacred water is healing and flying with community as freedom? Or was it the turtle's attributes, the keeper of wisdom, of patience, the sacred grounding and stability that the turtles bring? That holder of sacred wisdom. There's another story that I will not tell today, but how the turtle held the Earth Mother on her back until the Earth Mother was strong enough to hold her own. Or maybe it was with the otter, with the sacred attributes of the keeper of joyfulness, the keeper of friendship, and the keeper of playfulness. Or the beaver, with its attributes of the sacred builders of creation, knowing you have a purpose in creating, the resourcefulness that is known deep within you, and that you create for community. Or is it the small muskrat with the attributes of humility, the courage to go into the depths, to see what treasure lies beneath the surface of your heart? The muskrat gives you the ability to allow what needs to die within us so growth can happen. As we shuffle our feet, we spread the mud, and we plant our seeds thread by thread. These animal allies share all of these amazing qualities in this beautiful story of Sky Woman, inviting us to remember ourselves. Just as Grandmother Francisco's hands weave the prayers of remembering, we can choose how we weave. Some threads might be bright, some threads might be dark, some are worn and frayed, and some are newly discovered. We are a beautiful tapestry that does not require every thread to be identical. Its beauty comes from the way the different threads meet. Our community becomes richer in this awareness that we are not self-made. We are community-made. This story represents just that each one of us is as important. Sometimes we believe we're not this or we're not that. But it's important to face toward what is. To remember this gift of you and your thread, whether it is worn or frayed. So who has added to your tapestry? Were they grandparents, parents, a teacher, a friend, a mentor, someone who challenged us? And yes, they add to our threads. Someone who forgave us, or someone we have forgiven, or someone we may have never met, but whose work has changed the world. We are woven together with the seen and the unseen. We notice how we have all fallen into this place today. I say it, we have fallen together. That our threads are in this moment humming and vibrating because we have shown up. All we had to do was get in a car or have somebody drive us and have a seat. We are not merely people living beside one another. We are people creating one another's world. And in closing, should you ever fall, may a host of water birds rise to meet you and soften your fall. And may all creatures come forward to support your weaving of threads. And so, may we weave together every day. Aho matakiyo yasin. Blessings to you and all your relations. Thank you for inviting me. Have a blessed day.